You know how it is. Another another week comes, or what I really mean to say is another time Z-Man gets bored or wants to make a new video, but hasn't finished a season of a show yet. Another director commentary. What better way to do it than when there's only 3 episodes left of season 4? Again, hope you guys don't mind that these are kind of not very in tune with actual season productions. Hope you guys are okay with that. I mean, there's not really much point in I'm really saying much beyond this, so let's just get to my production, how these episodes were made. Starting off, we have the first cavemen. Now, cavemen is the prehistoric times in general something I've always been kind of curious about. Simply just doing something with that always seemed interesting to me, and I don't know. I thought this was a kind of funny take on it. With just this one guy trying to tell the other guy about English. Sure, maybe him just killing the other guy was maybe kind of basic, but hey, this episode got like a decent amount of views, so who am I to judge, bro? If it works, it works. It just works a little last time. It shows people buy money grows. It just works. Not sure if you guys have heard that song, but it's a pretty peak. Yeah, not really much to explain with that one. Very self-explanatory. Next up is Ace Attorney 7. Why did you want this? I know I'm so good with basic titles. Okay, so this one I made when... so this and the next episode were made at a time when I was getting very tired. This was again, this first week of SillyToons Season 3 was alongside the first week of Bro Season 3, which was the end of me making episodes of both SillyToons and Bros on the same day, which, looking back, damn, Z-Man, how are you able to do that? You were a machine, bro. Nowadays, I'm occasionally missing deadlines accidentally. Like, I'm doing way worse now, but back then I was doing pretty good for myself, huh? But then again, this kind of shows, because this and the next one, I was very much out of ideas. I had the cavemen one, and that was a solid premiere. But after that, I was kind of like, come on, Z-Man, you gotta keep it together, man. So I quickly threw together this because, hey, I like Ace Attorney. I'm not really much of a gamer, but me and my siblings played through Ace Attorney, and maybe I'll do like a Z-Man extra on it, on my overall thoughts on the trilogy. But it was pretty good, is what I'm just gonna say for now. And I thought it would be funny to just make a parody of it, making fun of the fact that since it takes place in Japanifornia, there's no African Americans. So like, maybe Phoenix would do this. Was this lore accurate, Phoenix? No, absolutely not. But hopefully, it was still a funny parody. Looking back, again, much like First Caveman, maybe it wasn't the funniest thing I could have done. Like, it is kind of a basic joke, like, oh, racism in the Big 26. Totally didn't steal that from the commenter who commented on that episode. Don't even gotta check the episode for it, by the way. But yeah, not a ton to say about this one either. I feel like it would have been funnier if it was like, I remember when I was first thinking about doing a director commentary, I decided to go, I realized I could have done a funnier punchline for this, but now I don't even remember that funnier punchline. I still thought of it after the episode was made anyway. It's not like I really could have done it anyway, but still, like, maybe it was Phoenix at first saying, because he's blah. And then maybe like the next panel would have Phoenix say something like that meant, oh, he wasn't actually being racist. I don't know. I could have done better with that one. Speaking of ones I could have done with, it's episode 3. It drew a little doodle. Sorry, a little technical difficulty there. Drew a little doodle is what I consider to be like the worst episode of any of my shows, Bros or SillyToons. Damn it, I was so effing lazy with this one. This one, I feel like if I told someone, oh yeah, roughly after I made this episode, I split the workload between Bros and SillyToons tours every other day, I feel like they'd believe it after watching this one. Good lord, is this episode lazy. I don't even have much to explain about this one other than I was very tired. I'm pretty sure it was a really rough day that Wednesday, and I really couldn't be bothered. I was like, hey, in season 2, I did that one. I'm gonna show you guys like the connection between this episode and the one and the other one. Hold on. Damn. Okay, here it is. But here's my other one. This was SillyToons 19, not really silly. A genuine art thing I did with my family, and thought, hey, this could make for a fun SillyToons episode. Just showing off my artwork. This, after only 3 episodes in between them, is Drew a Little Doodle. Notice how crap it is. You can barely even see it on the damn computer screen, you know? I'm still not proud of Not Really Silly either. I get that I do try to use SillyToons as a more experimental series compared to Bros. Especially since SillyToons is already a one-off series, so it's not like it's more forgiving when I think this show does this type of thing. But still, I do kind of regret making these episodes of SillyToons when really they should have been just random other shorts, not associated with either of my shows. But they became episodes. So yeah, if you ever catch me doing if you ever catch me doing this type of crap again, just know it's because I was lazy and couldn't be damned to just make a real episode. So yeah, if you like that episode of Drew a Little Doodle, or even if you like Not Really Silly either, if you like either of those episodes, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, obviously, but just note that I personally am not proud of them. They are like my least favorite episodes, and because they barely even count as episodes. But now that we got that unpleasantness out of the way, let's move on. Ooh, okay, 4, new hotspot. So I'm not sure if this is narcissistic or like some sort of attention grabbing or what, but every once in a while, well, not really attention grabbing, but like desperate. Every once in a while, when I go through my liked videos, I do occasionally rewatch some of my old Bros and SillyToons stuff. Especially if it's like a newer one and like it still has low views, and I want to like help it out a little bit. Speaking of which, the newest SillyToons episode, Descending a Witch. Come on, how does it still have less than 100 views? I never did that bad. Was that one really not that funny? Anyway, but yeah, I rewatched the new hotspot, and yeah, I'm still very much proud of that one. Once again, not a lot to explain like behind the scenes wise, other than I thought it was a funny concept. Cannon in ball. Come on. I know some people might find that stupid and lazy, but I found it really clever at the time. What else do I gotta say? I really do think this is a clever one. Car just honked. Maybe they're honking in agreement. Like, yes, this is a peak episode. But yeah, very much proud of this one. And I love the stupid song I chose in the background. Why did I choose that? It is the most random thing, but I think it adds to the overall odd atmosphere. But I think, yeah, it does add to the overall odd atmosphere that the episode kind of has. Oh, yeah, and if you want to know whatever happened to that guy, he got arrested for like cannibalism, bro. Bro ate his own product. You never do that. Anyway, rounding off week 1, we have Return of Obese Orson. I had like a couple of different ideas in mind for this, but eventually settled with this one. Because the first Obese Orson did so well, I thought, screw it, why not just do another episode, a sequel? And wouldn't it be funny if Obese Orson just died? Like, no happy, silly ending for this one. Bro's dead. Bro's dead. Move on. Again, looking back, I do wish instead of question mark, then 2025, I think it would have genuinely been funnier if I think it would genuinely have been funnier if, like, Obese Orson, like, if it was 2026 to 2026, because, I mean, his episode was in 2026, so, come on, a very basic joke there. How'd I miss that? Regardless, I'm still very much proud of that one, and I like that I used a different version of the same song I used for the first one. I know I don't really go over the music tracks because, to be quite blunt, I don't really view them as overly important. I kind of view them as just a way to like a nice little song to put in the background. But I every once in a while I do something like that, and I'm like, yeah, I think this is worth pointing out. Okay, week two, the beginning of SillyToons getting a whole day to itself, separated from Bros, much like with Bros second season 3, week 2. Next up is Knuckle Sandwich. Yep, a good old Knuckle Sandwich. Man, this one was one of those. This is an idea I had for a long time before I even made it a SillyToons episode, and then I remembered it and was like, let's just make this a SillyToons episode, bro. Well, again, now like a lot of this season, there's not a lot to explain, which I know may make it quite boring, but hopefully you guys don't mind my simple explanations. I thought it was simply a good idea. So yeah, I think it holds up. Oh damn, did you guys hear that? Nah, bro, I just let that one out, bro. Not sure if I've ever farted on stream before, but you got lucky. Lucky you getting to hear me fart on stream. Probably wasn't. It wasn't even a loud one. You guys didn't even hear that. I don't think you guys wanted to hear that. Why the hell am I talking about this one? I just gotta be talking about these silly tunes. Next up is 7 Unlikely Pals, is what I meant to say. Much like the previous episode, this is another one where I thought of it for a while. I was like, oh man, I'm so proud of this one. And you know what? I still am. I think it's a funny premise. A frog and a fly being friends. Frogs are animals I've always had a soft attachment for. There are a couple different animals I've always had a weird attachment to them, and frogs have always been one of them. I don't know why. I always kind of just liked them. And one of the and it being friends with a fly is nice. So, would you guys want to see the frog and fly duo return for another episode? Because I'd very much be down to make that. Maybe keep them around as more. Maybe I should make more of a real serious effort to give SillyToons like a cast of recurring characters, and they could be just 2 of them. It could work, maybe. Gotta tell me your input on that one, but yeah, very much proud of this one. And then you have the guy who's pretty much like a lot of like a hardcore people nowadays are like, oh yeah, this is wrong, and they're like, why? And then they immediately backtrack because they want to be progressive, being like, I don't know, and it's like, bro, just commit to it at that point. And number 8, we have a birthday party. Man, I have a story for this one. Okay, so originally this episode was meant to be more of a Hangover parody. Yeah, have you guys ever watched The Hangover? I saw like the first 2 movies. The second one I thought was kind of mid. It had chicks with D. That's all I gotta say about that. That traumatized me for the rest of that movie. But the first movie is really good, and I thought it would be funny if it was like kids doing Hangover. But by the time I finished it, I realized no, it wasn't really. It was not similar enough to Hangover. I chickened out. I just called it birthday party. I try to avoid doing reference humor. I did do Ace Attorney earlier the same season, and for the most part, I'm okay with that. And I know I did that Steve Urkel thing back in season 2, so I'm not against using my work to parody other sources. It's just since I'm always kind of fearful that I'm not doing the reference justice. I don't want to come off like a bad Robot Chicken or Family Guy cutaway where it's like instead of coming off as a funny reference, it comes off as just me being a tryhard, trying so hard to like reference something, but I come off as like a loser who's just. And it comes off more like the joke is just the reference, and I don't want to be that. So I often try to separate. So I don't try to often make my stuff just references. Did I already explain this in the past? Whatever. Hear me say it again. Get that recycled content. But yeah, I still think it came out pretty well. I used Oliver from That Boy in his balloon episode simply because he was already a kid character, so why not just reuse his assets? Why not add a little bit of lore to these tunes that are in fact silly, you know? Regardless, I'm still pretty proud of this one. Neopol is such a weird dude, and I'm so happy I created him. Very much proud of that little fella. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Originally, one of the 4 kids was gonna die, but I decided I kind of want to use them all for later. Which, if you've seen a certain season 4 episode, you'll know that I do use them later. So we just killed off Chase. Who's Chase? We will never know. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with child murder. as long as it's a character I made, I'm okay with child murder. Alrighty, number 9. Sonny will get his shake. This is a simple one to describe. It was towards the end of the season. And usually, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm weird for this, but I always get kind of self conscious towards the end of seasons where it's like, I do have. Where it's kind of just, oh man, I don't. Like, a part of me doesn't want to use the idea because I'm worried that, like, I should save it for next season. So, after towards the end, I often try to maybe throw in some random concepts, and this is one of them. But I'm still very much proud of this one. I think this one is still pretty good. I just like these types of old timey diners and these old timey outfits. They have such a charm. I love it. I thought it'd be funny if this guy was talking about all this random stuff. Not much to explain beyond that. I'm just still pretty proud of this one. I think it's one of my favorites. And 10, planning ahead. Not a ton to explain about this one. I thought it would maybe be a funny premise if, hey, why not have, since a very special episode is still the most popular thing I've ever made on YouTube, why not do another Z-Man one? But this time it's like it's more of a, I do another fourth wall break, where I'm just like, come on now, what are we going to be doing for season 4? I got a talking eggplant because eggplants are beyond the obvious thing they're standing for. I find eggplants just very weird creatures. Like, what even are they, bro? And he also drew Pink Panther because, I don't know, I've always had a bit of an attachment to Pink Panther despite barely seeing any of his stuff. I'll eventually review Pink Panther show. Eventually. And then I put a stupid self plugin for my Discord server because because by like week 2 of the season, is when I started promoting the Discord server. So, which, by the way, you should join the Discord server. So yeah, that's season 4. I mean, that's season 4. That was me planning season 4, and that's how season 3 ends with a referential thing. Overall, admittedly, looking back, I'm really more so proud of week 2. I think week 2 of the season is some of my favorite SillyToon episodes. Like, come on, Knuckle Sandwich, Unlikely Pals, Birthday Party, Sonny will get a shake playing head. I don't think there's a single miss in week 2. Well, personally, I'm still very proud of week 2. Week 1, it's still new hots. Actually, no. This is probably, I'm still very much proud of most of these. I think it's only Ace Attorney 7 and Drew a Little Doodle where I think I could have definitely done better. But it's always going to be like that. It's always going to be weaker spots. And then sections where I feel like I'm more proud of what I do. With that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy the remainder of what SillyToons Season 4 will bring. And hopefully it won't be till the end of Season 5 before I get Season 4's Director's Commentary out. Gonna do it!